charges. I don't see taxes. Sterling Environmental, landfill closure, $153,000, $719.86, transfer from other funds. You know, it was interesting. Earlier, the supervisor was talking about how we were going to do a little horse trading, pony up. I couldn't get it. I'm not too much of an equestrian expert. But what I do know is that at this point in time, it's important that everyone know that, you know, with that landfill project, that little pony horse trading that we were going to do, we were going to end up with the county's garbage. I don't know if any of you people remember that. We were going to end up with the county garbage. I made a statement and said we should not end up with the county garbage in our town. And you know, at the end of the day, nobody said we could make that deadline. Do you know that we're on target for that deadline? And we're not too bad off with the money either. Apparently we're under budget for that one. But just remember that good old-fashioned horse-pony trading was going to end up with your county garbage in our town garbage, and it didn't happen. And by the way, even though initially it wasn't a 5-0 vote, it turned out that way. This board acted cooperatively. And by the way, Jake, we did act cooperatively for that one. Took a little pony trading. Chazen, Sterling Environmental, Malcolm Kearney, special districts, $39,322.54. District charges. Severn Trent, special districts, $436,783.44. I'm told that that was a bidded contract. So that meant that that went out to public bid. So you can't have an RFP in a public bid. So Severn Trent, special districts, that was a regular bidding process, everyone. So I don't know. Was that comptroller told this by the supervisor? I don't know. But I know that we are going to write a letter to make certain that the comptroller knows this. And that's going to be in the report that is going to be released by the state, because it's the state's interest to keep this confidential, since the state is the one that formally sends it out. AKRF, well, let's see, pending planning projects, $47,990.75. Escrow from developers. Okay. Approved planning projects, $17,158.55. Inspection fees. Okay, guys, town planner and architectural, $52,959.72. That's your taxes. Well, they got to get paid something, because we do need to plan this town so that we can end up commercially responsible, so that we can get more taxes for you. Hey, Peach Lake Sewer, $87,180.78. District financing. Total planning costs $205,289.80. Total engineering costs, of which I see only, what was that? Taxes of $43. $1,012,716.94. Did the state comptroller know that that wasn't all from taxpayer dollars? I don't know. I think we're going to find out. All right? I mean, apparently, am I being humorous? Well, at least I'm not being hysterical. But I will tell you one thing. The bottom line is that's what you have to do. You have to get the facts. You can't just make this stuff up. And if you make this stuff up, you know what you're going to end up with? You're going to end up with a divided board, where people who don't make this stuff up are separated from the people who do make the stuff up.
Okay, I guess this is made up by the Comptroller's Office then.
Yeah, I guess
well, according to this, it's titled
Comptroller's
Office, and it's titled from, so I guess they made it up, unless you want to correct it with them, but this is what I'm quoting from. It's almost like when you get audited by the IRS for your taxes, obviously you're going to try to protect yourself. So if you're going to try to protect the town this way, I appreciate it, Ms. Collins, Ms. Hudak, that you're trying to protect the town. But I am reading from it.
She was trying to make the gravy train disappear.
Exactly.
How do we make?
Thank you. How do you make it disappear?
How do we make an elephant disappear in a
right
misdirection? Misdirection.
Thank you.
Yes, Rick.
May I? Richard O'Rourke is a resident of the town, not representing anybody other than a happy homeowner. It seems to me, and I'm respectfully making this suggestion, everyone is reading from a report that apparently the agency is saying is confidential. No one, at least I'm not aware of anyone other than you, who has seen this entire report. And it seems to me, it just seems to me that a suggestion. I'm sure that there are pieces and components that each town board member could seize upon and say, it says this, it says that. But, you know, it's like someone who reads half of a trial transcript, or is misled, or doesn't have as Paul Harvey used to say, the rest of the story. It seems to me maybe it might be smart, or just a suggestion, that, and you can read figures and you can read quotes and everything else, but why don't we hold off on that? When is it that you anticipate receiving the report, which then could be available to the public, and then obviously everyone would be on a level playing field, and not that this is a real comment, but it just makes more sense to have the complete record in front of you. It seems like we could debate this all evening. I know you have many agenda items, but it just seems that perhaps the prudent course might be to shelve the discussion for the time being, await the release of the report, and then have at it. But right now, I don't think is perhaps the opportune time.
Thank you.
Just my observation.
Thank you,
And
Rick.
that's what I always said from day one. that we
Yes,
should
sir.
wait till it's released.
Welcome, and thank you for joining us tonight. Pardon me, Ann. No, Ann, please. That's a nice vignette. Okay, please go ahead, sir. Please go ahead, sir. Thanks.
Thank you. I'm Rick Voss. I'm from the Board of Trustees at Brewster Public Library, and I agree with the idea that the library and the museum and so on are not charities. Okay? The library provides tons of services. Okay? Mrs. Marison talked about internet usage, and there are more and more people in this economy who can't afford this at home or who have cut off their services at home. We have 7 computers running full tilt all the time. From the moment the door opens every day, those things are busy, and people are standing in line waiting to use them. We have people looking for jobs in different places. We have people studying for tests for jobs or for go to school. There's an SAT preparation site for college-bound students. We have more and more families in this community who homeschool their students, and they depend on the library for huge amounts of materials. They sign in numerous items week in and week out, and they constantly have lists of things that they're requesting from various places. At the library, you can get access to databases that the library itself and the Mid-Hudson Library System can afford to provide because that cost is spread out. These are databases that individuals could not afford to have at home. We have all kinds of educational speaker programs, as Lynn referenced. We have all kinds of children's programs. Again, they're educational things for the families and for the taxpayers in this town. There are workshops on writing resumes so that people can look for jobs, people who need to find more employment. They're checking out all different kinds of materials, books and DVDs and CDs, movies, books on tape that commuters listen to as they go to and from work, newspapers, magazines, and so on. The volume of all these items that are circulated repeatedly in a calendar year, the cost of these items would be in the millions. And this is done for an appropriation of less than $200,000. And the gentleman from the council said, oh, we fund the library. No, I'm sorry, but the 5 or the 6 of you sitting up there don't fund the library. It's the taxpayers who fund the library. And they're the people who use the libraries, okay? It's funded by taxpayers who increasingly in this economy, as Mr. Gross noted, use the library more and more. The library is not a charity. The library has been doing much more with less for years. Okay? If the town budget does not support the library, a vital town asset will be severely crippled, and the town will be doing much less with less. Strangling the library budget will be a penny-wise and pound-foolish idea. You could save some money today, but the repercussions will echo throughout the town for a long time. Destroying the library does not count as preserving core assets of the town, nor does it meet the expectations that some of you seem to think that the residents want. I also like the idea of an RFP. I'd love to see you put out the library as an RFP and see what the costs might be. What kind of bids are you going to get to provide what we provide? We've been at level funding with the county for the past 7 years. We've been at level funding with the town for the last 2 or 3 years. There are no increases. Okay? None of the people who have spoken here tonight, not one, is on the gravy train. Okay? I don't know who is on the gravy train, but we don't receive a penny. Not in salary, not in benefits, not in health care, not in anything. We are here as volunteers, and we are asking for what is fair. Several people talk about doing what is fair for the town, and I think taking care of the taxpayers, taking care of the library, that's what's fair. Thank you for letting me share.
Sure, Rick, thank you. If there's no further comment, then I move oh, yes, ma'am.
Hi.
Good evening. Welcome,
Hi.
thanks for joining us.
Thank you. I'm Lester Cordell. I'm a 15-year resident of the Village of Brewster, and part of the reason I moved to the area was because of the then lower taxes, but also because of the library. You know, the library is one of the few good things that we still have going in downtown Brewster, and I think it's a hub. If any of you have ever just gone in during a weekday or even on a Saturday, the library is mobbed, absolutely mobbed with adults and children. I have an 11-year-old computer. I have dial-up. I can't get some of the things, access to the things that I need. I have to go down to the library and I sign up and I wait my turn and then I take my time, do what I need to do, and I'm able to achieve a great deal. I'm also one of the commuters who goes literally through hundreds of audiobooks a year so that I don't go crazy driving to and from the Bronx, where I teach. I love the Mid-Hudson checking system where you can order books from counties all over, you know, the state. And it offers me an opportunity and a variety of not only the books I enjoy for leisure, but for my job as well, for research. If I have a problem, I'm a troglodyte when it comes to technology in many incidences. I don't know how to download a library book, but the librarians have offered to help me out. When I needed to do a webinar, I asked if I could be in the library for a few minutes earlier on a Saturday, and they also helped me with that, okay? The idea that it's a charity, I think, is ludicrous. It's a public trust, and it's something that we have to preserve. People use it as a place to educate themselves. I've heard information about recreation and open space. The only place I don't want open space is between my ears, okay? We need the library. We can't afford to abandon the library. I think there's more space in this room where we're meeting than that whole library has downtown. The other thing is that, as I said, it's the taxpayer money that's being used, and I'd be willing to pay more in taxes in order to keep that library open. We can't only use bake sales and Afghan raffles and book sales in order to fund 21st century initiatives. And I think that technology plays a huge role, and we have to keep up to date. That's the only way more people would be attracted to our town, attracted to our village, and so we need to keep a great resource as it should be, and not overlook and have an oversight on something that's critical to the vitality of any kind of a library and a neighborhood and a community. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I move we close the, Betsy, would you like to speak?
Oh, yes, thank you.
Welcome. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much. And thank you to all who have been speaking up tonight on behalf of the funding of these cultural institutions of our town. It anchors a sense of place and where we've come from, and certainly the museum is here to hold on to that heritage and to bring it forward. It's used by school children. Classes come through annually. We have many of the school children. We have high school interns helping us to keep the museum doors open and bring forward this institution. I don't know that I have a lot more to say that hasn't already been said, but